Hi everyone, Peyton here. So I think when I share my thoughts, I'm going to be echoing a lot of what my social work counterparts, said in those interviews that we all watched, and probably what a lot of my peers are saying. But I see the DSM as a helpful tool, but not the end all be all to practice. I think the DSM can be very helpful in helping me to understand certain diagnoses and their criteria. It can be helpful as a reference guide when I need to look back on something, but I don't think it should be the only tool used when diagnosing mental disorders. As with a lot of books and policy written down, things can look good on paper, but it does not always translate well into real life. So it's always something I'm going to keep in the back of my mind, knowing that there is much more to a person and to a disorder than just what was written down and decided upon in a book by some people that sat down in a room. I think my biggest criteria of the DSM is that it is what it is, a manual. How can I use a manual to determine who a person is and what is going on in their physical bodies and brain? With how complex life and the human brain is, there's no way a human made manual can take into consideration all the biological and environmental things going on in a person, and that what it says is what we should diagnose that person. But I think a strength of the DSM is that it can be helpful to understand a baseline of these disorders that we're working with. And it does point out some good behaviors and characteristics to note of these diagnoses, even though it might not be all of the characteristics that we could see for diagnoses.